Welcome to the main event Fightcast. I'm your host, Vega, alongside my co-host, Coach Mike. And I just want to put it out there right out the gate, get this shit going. You feel me? Batman is the Khabib of superheroes, bro. Let me explain, all right? Let me explain, because I started to explain, you didn't want to hear it, but let me explain for the people.
Okay.
You feel me?
Okay.
You see, Batman, right, is undoubtedly undefeated, right? For sure, right? But some of his wins are questionable, because, like, was he really expected to lose to the Riddler? Was the Penguin really going to give him the business? See, he's beat a bunch of nobodies, you feel me? He beat a bunch of nobodies. And then he gets his toughest challenge to date, the Joker, who even after he beats him, continues to terrorize his life from a distance, non-stop. And that's Conor. Conor continues to bother Khabib despite the fact that he won the fight. He continues to ask for the rematch. He continues to chastise him. Just the other day, he's the one that came at him about the whole tax thing. Boy's been exposing his coach as a tax terrorist fraud for a while. Conor is the Joker to Khabib being the Batman. I rest my case.
I just don't. I don't see the correlation because
you don't know the rest of the villains. You only know it based on the movie version. But Batman beat up some losers, bro.
Batman is the only human superhero and he was undefeated.
Yeah, because his superpower is having money. He's Elon Musk, bro.
Is Joker really his toughest task? Was that his toughest task, or was Superman his toughest task? Just because he made it look easy doesn't make it.
He didn't make Superman look easy. He did. If you know somebody could be poisoned and you don't poison them, you're kind of dumb.
Exactly.
It's not making it look easy.
That's why Batman is the greatest of all time, because he was the best tactician. It didn't matter how he got it done, he would get it done.
You know.
And that's just not Khabib, in my opinion.
I don't think that that's a fair statement to make, because if the bad guys did whatever they felt like, whatever they needed to do to get it done, and instead of setting timers to give Batman a chance, they was just like, we're just going to blow this shit up once we put the bomb down.
I think Jon Jones is Batman until the evil comes out.
See, Jon Jones is Superman.
No, once he was exposed of being, like, not being the good guy, the good Christian that he always used to try to be, he lost that. He lost the privilege of that, because he's not a superhero.
I don't know, man.
Some people even called him a menace to society at times. So like
they did for Superman.
That's true.
Who led that charge?
That's true. But I'm just saying why I would have wanted Jon Jones to have been the Batman, because those are the GOATs, in my opinion.
Man, Jon Jones is like Wolverine, bro. He's the guy who really just doesn't give a fuck, bro.
You also have a deeper comic.
He's the guy that doesn't give any fucks.
Like you know way more about comic books than I do. So
like,
I'm gonna bow down to it all the way.
Shit happens. Don't stress me out. That's who Jon Jones is.
He might be Deadpool, bro. He might be Deadpool. Nah.
Dan Hooker's Deadpool, bro. I think it's tapped. It's tapped, bro. If you ask Dan Hooker right now, if somebody called Dan Hooker right now and said, yo, we want you to fight Jon Jones, he's signing up and saying yes.
Yeah.
That's a Deadpool behavior, bro. He has no regard for safety.
Yeah, he's beyond the BMF.
He has zero regard for his safety, bro. That's not BMF.
I mean, don't get it twisted. He's gonna ask what's the price. He's gonna ask what's the price. The price gotta be right. He's not stupid.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Deadpool's whole thing, bro. He's a hired assassin.
I mean, they're all hired assassins in that sense, but like, I'm just saying, like, he's not gonna just take the fight for what he just fought Gamrot for. But if you tell him, listen, it's a blank check behind that. he's gonna be like, all right, give me 2 months to put on his weight.
Am I wrong for thinking he'll take it for when he fought Gamrot? He'd be like, what? Hell yeah, let's do it. I thought you guys wanted me to do it for free.
They gangsters, but they're not stupid.
That's Bryce Mitchell. That would have been a Bryce Mitchell would have responded like that. He's like,
Yo.
you guys are paying me too? Okay.
He also thinks the world's flat, so.
Yo, I don't. All right, we're going to get into fight news, and we'll segue that in with the coming from the land of the assassins themselves. Kai Sakura has managed to leapfrog his way directly into a debut UFC title shot against Alessandra Pantoja.
What are the odds on DQ?
Damn,
look it
bro,
up.
here we go again. You
We
want
gotta
to
look
go
it
with
up.
this DQ
gotta look
story
it up.
again, bro. You want to...
We gotta look it up.
Listen, like you correctly pointed out, by the time he fights, the knees with the hand down will be legal. That 50% of that whole concern about DQ is out the window right there.
No, but
You know
there's
what I'm saying?
50%. Only 50%.
The soccer kicks, I have a lot of belief and faith that he's not dumb. Right? Like he was doing soccer kicks when he knew they were legal. I don't think that's a knee-jerk reaction type of situation. You see somebody on the floor and you first think soccer kick. You know?
No,
I might be wrong though. That
I'm
might
just-
be a knee-jerk reaction. As I was saying it, I was like, that actually kind of sounds like a knee-jerk reaction.
into what I know about the kid. I've never watched him fight. I've seen highlights. That's it.
Yeah, no, his highlights
A lot of
definitely.
soccer kicks, a lot of down opponent strikes.
So when you showed me the highlight reel of it all together, right? It changed my perspective on the fight. Going into it, my initial thought was
That's enough for somebody who was already
Right.
a fan of him, and just like, whoa, you're right. This happens a lot.
but
Not that it's like, oh, it's gonna happen.
No,
It's
no,
just,
it didn't.
oh,
But it
okay.
didn't worry me about the DQ. What it changed for me was, oh, right, okay. In the league he's coming from, where he's known for finishes, you can finish people with more brutal strikes, right? So will the finishing power translate when you can't soccer kick somebody, right? Will it translate when you can't necessarily knee someone to the head, right? Like those. So thinking about it from that perspective, when you see all of his knockouts in one highlight reel, you're like, oh. Yeah, a lot of these are actually going to be illegal in the UFC. Will he get a finish over Pantoja?
But there's two sides
Changes
of
the
it. There's two
conversation.
sides of it too, though, because now Pantoja has to worry about the things that are newly gonna be legal for his fights, because he hasn't been fighting over these new rules that's coming up in a month or two. I think.
Right. Well, he hasn't fought since Royval.
Exactly. So no. Since
Ursek was after Royval. That's right, Ursek.
So basically,
Yeah.
Well,
everybody's going into the new rule set in December.
basically, but he's going in there against somebody who's been using this
Right, using some
this
of them.
technique
Yeah.
already. So like, it's gonna be he's gonna be no stranger to it, and Pantoja better be ready
Has
for
to
it.
adjust.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
they're
that's
both
gonna be a big
both making adjustments. So if you think about it, one just has to dial it back. The other one has to realize that that's there now.
So I know you haven't seen a lot of it. You haven't seen a lot of them, but based off what you have seen,
I haven't seen
What
any.
do
I
you
haven't seen it
think?
live. I've only seen highlights.
based off of what you have seen, what do you think?
It's hard to put. As somebody that came up playing basketball or watching basketball, like some of the players that people would laugh at, I would tell them, like, look at their high school tape. You would think he was gonna be the next Jordan, and it's just highlight tapes don't tell the story.
That's fair.
Especially if you don't know
That's a fair
the
speculation.
person on the other side.
My thought on it is simply Kai's speed is going to be the advantage. I think he's
No, 100%, 100%,
click faster
100%.
than
Even from
Pantoja.
highlights, I could see that he was
Yeah.
faster than Pantoja.
But Pantoja again being
who
the
has Pantoja?
tank. you
Who
know
has
what I'm saying?
Pantoja fought that he was faster than?
Nobody that I can think of. Nobody. But also, I don't think anybody he's fought has been as fast as Kai either.
Possible,
So that's the other side.
possible, but I don't know. I don't know.
The closest person to
Royval's-
that.
Royval's very fast.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The closest conversation to that was going to be Royval, and as we saw him against Tatsuro Taira this weekend.
Moreno's very fast, but if you watch those fights, he neutralizes his speed.
he neutralizes
his
speed
speed in every single one of those, all three of those fights.
But Royval versus Tatsuro Taira, Royval was able to really highlight his speed once again, putting a stop to the rising contender, Tatsuro Taira. And that fight, leading up to it, broke my heart because I was like, damn, man, this fight was supposed to be the title shot, and now Kai's coming in and sweeping that right from under the rug. But I'm guessing, the matchmakers knew something we didn't, because Brandon Royval went in there, and I'm a big fan of Tatsuro Taira, but Royval definitely exposed some holes that I think if Tyra takes it the right way, he should grow from this pretty heavily.
Yeah, it was also a tough fight for him. It was somebody he's trained with,
Yeah,
who's
that's true.
been in the big dance for all this time.
Right. Who already said before and repeated it after the fight that he's going to be a future champion, while I'm here.
Well, this is somebody that believes in him, knows him well.
Yep.
That's an advantage, especially for the more experienced guy.
And ultimately, the advantage that really showed was in cardio, right? Like how long could Tatsuro Taira keep his game plan going? Because the first round he did a pretty decent job. Second round he held it together pretty well. But from that point forward, championship rounds, Brandon took over.
Has he ever been in a championship round?
And he has not. I don't think, if I remember the stats correctly, I don't believe he's actually gone 3 rounds before.
I would consider this his first main event because his last one was a main event against Alex Perez.
And he finished that quick.
He finished them early, and guys, Alex Perez's knee popped out.
Yeah, it was a quick fight. So I'm hoping that Tatsuro keeps it up, keeps doing the good work that he's been doing, comes back and sees
He'll
what happened.
definitely learn from it. I wanted to ask, from 1 to 10, what would you rate that fight?
Well, it definitely got fight of the night, so it was the best on the card. I would say I expected more from Tyra, so just speaking as a fan strictly, I'd give it like a 7. And of those 7 points, right? Because this is the fun part about the 10 scale. It's basically 5 and 5 for each, right? Of those 7, I would say I give 4 to Royval. So Royval really brought the fight energy to the fight.
I enjoyed the fight, and I would probably give it an 8, but it was more, I guess it was more me anticipating what's this kid gonna be like? How would he perform under the lights against somebody who I know is of the elites, just not the best in the world.
Right. But he could be the best in the world. We might find out soon.
It was fun.
Actually, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen there?
It was fun because the holes that he did show, the parts that he did seem green at, he can work on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
what do you think happens next with Royval? Because right now he's in a position where he's already lost to the champions twice.
He's got to sit and wait for that Moreno fight.
You think he has to wait for a Moreno fight? I think honestly, he gotta do whatever juju prayers he can come up with and hope that Kai wins. Because if Kai wins, he gets a title shot.
That's true.
Especially with the way we've seen the UFC recently, with not giving a lot of rematches.
But by then, I think the Moreno, who's he fighting?
Albazi.
Moreno Albazi fight. If one of them has an impressive finish, they're matching him up with Royval. Now, if Albazi finishes Moreno impressively, sorry, he's gonna skip Royval.
Think so?
Yeah, because
I think
as good as that fight was, and I'm not saying that it was a great fight, I just enjoyed it. It wasn't a statement. It wasn't a
against
statement.
Tyra?
No, it was not a statement.
So I don't even think it matters that it wasn't a statement because
I think it matters.
I think it doesn't matter because his fight against Moreno was a statement.
The thing is, that division, the 2 guys that we think are second and third best are Moreno and Royval, who have lost repeatedly to the champion.
Right.
If anybody gets one of those guys out of there impressively, it's the stamp. It's a stamp.
If Pantoja's still holding the belt.
If Royval gets sparked in the first round and gets knocked out, or second, third round, you think this kid is not asking for the next? He's not getting the next shot.
If Albazi sparks Moreno, you mean?
No, if
Tatsuro beat.
Let's go back to Saturday night.
Yeah. If Tatsuro beat Royval, no, that was already the conversation.
No, not beat him. If
no, but this is what I'm saying. People want to assign different valuations to different performance levels, but it doesn't always work that way.
No, but it does with that division.
Tyra was already told this was his title contender shot. This was the fight where
maybe
if he
title
won,
title eliminator. Maybe
this is the one where if he won, he was fighting for the belt next.
I would hope they didn't tell that lie.
What do you mean?
Say that it was a title contender.
Yeah, that's what it was.
If they said it was a title eliminator, it makes sense. But I hope.
See, you're saying that now after seeing him lose.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear it before.
No, but I'm saying you're judging it based on after seeing him lose. Before seeing him lose, you got to remember he was on a 16-fight win streak. Undefeated.
Two in the UFC, right?
No, 4 in the UFC.
Okay.
Undefeated.
Okay.
Ranked number 5. right? So we're talking about a conversation where this isn't like a rush to the
No, that all makes sense.
Yeah, so
that's all fair.
So
That's
this was his moment where if he beat Royval, because like you said, Royval and Moreno are basically gatekeepers. Royval closer to the belt because he beat Moreno, right? That was what it was supposed to be. It was Tyra to the belt. And that's why so many people were like, "Oh my God, Kai's going right to the title. What about Tatsuro? What does that mean for him?"
It's just a
But then he lost.
It's just a different value when you get a decision win as opposed to if you get a.
Oh yeah, for sure. But when you've already been on such a crazy run, like a decision win against the number one contender
100%.
is expected. Otherwise, you are literally the best fighter here. You should watch the next person.
Listen,
right? That's why even as much crap as I gave Kayla Harrison against her with Ketlin, it's like you still. This is what's supposed to happen.
If this guy gets a thin margin victory over Moreno or the other way around, Royval's victory is still higher.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he already beat Moreno.
Mm-hmm. But he has to do it. He has to do it in that case, it's like,
just,
the impressive value of how he does it is what we'll take into consideration when you fought the same guy.
I'm just saying that, like, when it's so close, like, to give it to two people, like, or you have them fight, if one of them has an impressive finish as opposed to a decision win, they're gonna go with the finisher.
Depending on how tied up the schedule is.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to.
That's what it comes down to.
That's why
but
I'm
if
saying,
you have to pick between the two, you're gonna go with the finisher.
But that's why I'm saying I think because of the timing of the Pantoja fight, it's gonna come down to who's holding the belt. Mm-hmm. If Kai's holding the belt, Royval gets the title shot, unless, like you said, Albazi gets the stellar knockout over Moreno. Then they might skip Royval in the same way that Ilya skipped Max.
And guess what? And if Moreno has an impressive knockout, don't be shocked if he skips him too.
They won't.
Don't be shocked.
They won't do Moreno again.
The thing is, do you think that the Royval won that decision?
Against who?
Moreno.
Yeah.
You thought he won it?
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that felt
Yeah, I was very disappointed in Moreno. I expected Moreno to smoke Royval.
I didn't want to watch
and
it.
Royval showed up.
I didn't want to watch it again because I think I was so disappointed in Moreno's performance. I might have been.
That's one of those. That's one of those
might
rare
have been harsh on
cases,
it, or he might have actually lost though. I don't know.
That's one of those rare cases where Royval showed up. Right, he won his fight. Right, but simultaneously, Moreno lost his fight.
Yeah.
Right, but it's not a situation where Moreno lost his fight and Royval didn't look that good. Royval looked amazing, but Moreno also looked like he never activated. Right, unlike a recent fight that I can compare it to would be Merab and Sean, right? Where Merab didn't look amazing. He looked like Merab, right? But Sean never looked like he activated. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That is like, I can respect people who feel like Sean lost the fight more than Merab won. I can give you that. In the Royval versus Moreno fight, Royval did way too much for me to feel like he didn't earn that win just as much as Moreno didn't show up to fight.
I can't remember it that well to even.
Yeah, it was one of Royval, in my opinion, more impressive striking performances. I thought he was stellar. Also on the fight card this weekend was one of my guys, Chidi Njokuani, who showed up and gave a Muay Thai masterclass to Jared Gooden.
And at the same time, did Jared Gooden show up?
Right, but then that's the question. So that's crazy. Even more recent of a match where we can ask that question, right? Where it's like, yeah, Chidi did an amazing job. But Chidi did an amazing job.
He did a good job.
In the space.
I don't know if I'm going amazing. He did it.
You could say
he absolutely did it. He absolutely did his job.
Yeah. I was gonna say
you can't get him to get your dance partner to go for you if they don't want to go.
I was gonna say he did amazing in what he's supposed to be amazing at. He is a Muay Thai specialist. Him and his brother run a gym in Vegas. Right, so like that is what he's supposed to be great at. And given the opportunity to do whatever you want in that space, you nailed it. You fucking excelled. But Jared Gooden didn't show up, and that's why he was in a position where you got to do that the whole time. We don't know if you could get there by yourself.
Jared Gooden would have overextended himself and got knocked out.
Who knows, right? But Jared Gooden not showing up also took away from Chidi's win a little.
It's not good to have that feeling that like somebody's just not really going for it.
Yeah. But either way, even if he did go for it, I think Chidi showed so much more superior skill that it was just like, there was really nothing nothing going on here. But Jared Gooden didn't show up in the way that I think, or rather, Brandon Royval, I think, showed up a bit more aggressive and more for the kill. There was a bigger discrepancy with how Brandon showed up, with how Royval showed up versus Moreno versus how Gooden showed up versus Chidi. I almost said Brandon versus Brandon. That wasn't going to help nobody.
They're both Brandon.
That wasn't going to help nobody.
Actually, it's Brandon and Brendan.
Is it?
Yeah.
Moreno
is Brendan. It's with an E.
For real?
You
I thought that shit was with an A. That's crazy.
Yeah. Moreno's is with an E.
Oh, snap.
I believe they're both Mexican, though.
Yeah, but Royval is Mexican-American.
American, yeah. He's definitely more American, obviously. Yeah. But
who else had a great fight on that card last week? There was someone else. Who else was it?
Great fight? We had a great interview with
Themba Gorimbo. That was a good fight with Nico Price, and that was a really good fight because Nico Price was a great dance partner.
I'm more conflicted with that one because I guess having high hopes of Themba.
How high are these hopes of Themba that you were conflicted with this one?
I have a friend that's like trying to like asking me if it's a good time to bet on him becoming a champion.
Hell no.
By end of 2025, and I told him there's no chance.
No way. I told him there's no chance. Themba, but
I told him there's no chance.
No. First of all,
but it hurts but it even hurts my soul saying that because it's like, why am I slapping his ceiling like that? But it's just.
Well, I'll explain why I'm slapping his ceiling. It's because of the division he's in. Yeah. Are you crazy, bro? You're in the welterweight division. That is a mess of a division right now.
I explained that to him too.
Yeah, like.
But at the same time,
Themba's not rising with the type of fight star power.
Yeah, he's getting decision wins.
He's getting star power, but not fighter star.
He's
power.
Getting decision wins, and Nico Price is that dance partner that he'll give you the exciting fight, and he chose to grapple a little more than I want. I wanted him to scrap a little more, show that side.
I just wanted him to get the finish. That's what I feel like. That's what I
didn't think the way he fought was the path to
right. That's where I feel like he didn't figure out the correct game plan to getting the finish. Is what bothered me about the fight. Right, like there were moments in there that, and again, we're speculating as people outside the cage, so we can only see what we see. But there were just moments that I feel like different, backing away from the clinch, backing away from the ground and pound, right, and creating that space to go back to a little bit of striking and then mixing it up. There were just certain moments that I think the way he was wailing on him in the ground and pound with his left, right? Like, I think he could have been more calculated with some of those shots and not burned as much energy.
100%.
You know, little things like that. But again, like I said, this is easy to say from outside the ring.
It's just different things that, like, when you know somebody's a challenger and somebody's, like, really about to, like, take another step. And we're not really seeing that.
Right.
Maybe we're harsh critics because we're big fans. But we're clearly saying the same things. Like, at this point, he's a veteran fighter. He needs to be a little more calculated. No disrespect to Nico Price. He's a tough fighter, but...
Oh, that's crazy. I thought you just started talking about Brad Tavares out of nowhere.
No. You're funny. You're funny. That fight was...
Older fighter that needs to be a lot more calculated, and I don't really know what else to say, bro.
Brad's on the way out.
Yeah, for sure. Brad, a funny thing with Brad Tavares, this is completely meaningless to his fight career to a certain extent, but I remember the first time I picked up UFC Undisputed for PS3, bro. And I played as Brad Tavares, and I remember thinking, wow, this game is so realistic, bro. This is crazy. And now, so I appreciate the legacy of a fighter that he is, but I also think it's time to maybe hang it up. Right? Like that fight against Jung Yo Park, it wasn't pretty because once Brad burned out, it felt like he didn't know what to do anymore. And I hate seeing fighters go through that in the ring, where they just seem like they're so overwhelmed by what's happening, they don't know what to do, even at the most basic level.
I think he was fighting, got tired, and then that's when that moment came where he wasn't sure how to extend the rest of his energy, and it was just bad.
Right, maybe he froze in all the options that he had. But even that's an example of like, maybe it's time maybe it's just time. You know, it's cool
It
that
is
it's time.
time.
It's just time.
It's time for him.
Sometimes it's time. That's it. It'll be like that.
He's one of those guys that was a journeyman. He knew he wasn't fighting for the title never in his life actually. At this point.
Yeah, at this point,
At this
you gotta
point,
understand that.
what was the chances? Has he ever? What's the closest he's ever been? I don't even think he's even been at like like not even close to a title eliminator.
No?
He's got chances to spoil young prospects like Izzy.
Ah, right. That's why, because he fought.
He was
Izzy.
one of the first wrestlers
He
they
was one
threw
of the
at.
first people, right.
Wrestlers they threw at Izzy. So it was like, let's see if he'd be able to defend the takedown.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking about Izzy. Yep, that's right.
But
You know who did try to restart their title opportunities this weekend? Motherfucking Grant Dawson, baby. Grant Dawson came in there.
and guess what?
And
He's another guy that I would say no chance.
no chance.
Lightweight division, serious over there.
See, this is why I would give it a chance. Oh no, lightweight.
He has no chance.
Yeah, no.
He has no chance.
No chance. But it was a beautiful submission, though.
He's always been
Beautiful
always been a good grappler.
I mean, KO, not submission. KO. It was a knockout.
He's always been a good grappler that like gonna struggle with the elite strikers. He has no chance. But
I was thinking of Clay Carpenter when I was
At this
thinking of
point
a
in his-
beautiful submission that happened, but that was in the beginning of the card. So I don't know why I mixed it up with Grant
but
Dawson.
at this point in his career, you would think he'd be better at mixing it up. But you could put him after a loss, you put him in there against a guy that probably had no business being there with Grant Dawson, and destroyed him. And then Grant Dawson gives us a great promo. He definitely promoted his wife, who's also a fighter.
He promoted the hell out of his wife, I'll tell you what. Go back and catch that clip. Speaking real briefly on Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Roca.
Oh yeah.
This
The
was
submission.
the beautiful submission that took place to open up the card. So both of these guys are fairly new to the UFC, but Clayton Carpenter has a little bit of prospect energy to him, in my opinion, and I think it was really nice to see him solidify that, at least for me, with a nice like finishing bow tie for this fight. I think this might have actually been his debut, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Contender series guy, I think.
Right, that's Contender Series, Ronderos.
I don't know. It looked like I saw a picture of him in Contender Series stuff. No, not at UFC. No.
This was his debut. Yeah. Yep, that was his debut. So then, so this was a Contender Series fight. You're right.
2 subs in a row.
Look at that. 2 back-to-back subs. Killing them. I got to go back and watch that Contender Series fight because I had no idea.
Let's talk about your favorite fight of the night, Junior Tafa.
That was such a sloppy fight.
It was fun. Fights like that are good. You know why? It makes people believe that they can do it. That wasn't supposed to be that much of an insult. No, I feel bad.
Yo! Chill, bro. You're going to inspire people to try to fight BJ Penn in bars, bro.
Wait till he's had like 15 drinks already.
Bro.
Don't go right away.
I
Keep
really...
your distance. The wrestling is going to kill you.
I really hate that they keep putting Tafa in heavyweight.
He wants
Right,
to,
'cause
he
I can't-
wants to fight at 205, and they keep giving him heavyweight.
But I can't tell if he's bad or if he's just not supposed to be that fat.
All right, I won't say he's bad, but he's definitely not that good. I'm confident he's not that good.
Not that good at all.
Yeah.
Especially when we look at, like, take everything, you got to take everything into consideration in this fight, right? Like, he's coming off of a really embarrassing loss against Walter Walker.
It was embarrassing because how he took it.
Right, the behavior was embarrassing, right? I also find it a little embarrassing that he shouted. That was kind of crazy. But
But I'm not gonna lie, you explained that to me. I didn't realize that like any screaming motion, but it all makes sense. It's fair.
yeah, it's you can't, as a ref, you don't know what's happening,
cannot-
bro.
Like even if you like grimacing, they're gonna in any sport or whatever, they're gonna like basketball. The refs will tell the coach like, yo, sub him out, he's injured.
Yeah.
And they won't call a timeout. They won't count a timeout for it, but it's an injury timeout.
Right.
And
the refs can make that call.
Yeah.
And in a situation where we're
you're in
fighting,
you're in a submission, it's
Yeah.
deep, and you scream, ah!
if you've ever stubbed your toe and let out a sound, you understand exactly what happened there. And that's like whether the pain that Tafa felt in the moment was just a toe stub and he really didn't, like, he let out a little bit of air. It was unnecessary.
That's where you kind of open the door for a lot right there with because think about it. What if
Man, buddy, you itchy?
I cannot.
Yo,
Nah,
go lay
that's
down, dude.
hilarious.
Go lay down.
Ow.
Go. Go ahead. Go lay down. All right, do whatever you want.
Nah. I don't even know what I was talking about.
Fucking something about.
Oh yeah. So like, imagine you're in the ring, like you dislocate your toe just moving around, but you want to continue. Like, remember when John Jones' toe popped out?
John Jones and scream.
So he didn't even know what happened.
That's what I'm trying to see in a fighter.
Well, it just tells you the kind of pains that you're dealing with in there, and you're just not even paying attention.
There's a certain level
you're
of
just trained to ignore it because.
And your adrenaline, the adrenaline spike that kicks in too, it does a lot to help suppress and numb the pain, especially, right? Like maybe when you were younger, you recall a grandparent or somebody in your family, if something happened to you, they'd be like, oh, your head hurts? Here, this will help it not hurt. And like they make something painful somewhere else, or like even playfully that it's a psychological thing. So when you're in there fighting and everything hurts, you don't really get the space to feel pain for one or two things, right? So it's like in the moment his toe split, he probably also got elbowed, right? So like in that moment, your brain's like, yeah, my toe hurt, but that elbow though was crazy. So you forget about the toe, and then by the time you get a chance to think about the toe, yeah, you're sitting on the stool taking a breath, and you're like, oh my God, wait, why does my foot hurt?
I mean, the biggest thing I got out of that is, so they used to beat you as a child, huh?
Oh man,
Your head hurt? They just punch you in the ribs?
Nah, that was training stuff.
I don't know.
Yo, my sensei was the man, but we went through some aggressive training, bro. It was definitely 90s shit. He was old school, bro. Like
Man up.
Shout out my
dirt on
sensei,
it.
but he was a bare knuckle scrapper back in like the island type shit. So like he came from different.
Stop crying. Throw some dirt on it.
Yeah. That shit, I learned that sugar and salt have the same effect on a bleeding wound, bro. They both stop the blood. One hurts and one doesn't. So why do we use salt?
Man up. Man up.
Where were we with that?
You gonna scream for the sub?
Scream for the. That's right. You're gonna scream for the sub.
Nah, Junior Tafa he's a tough guy. Don't get it twisted. It's just the skill part that like.
Yeah, respectfully, like I don't recommend anybody to try to fight him
Junior
because
Tafa?
you think he's not a good fighter because he's
Bro,
not winning
stop it.
professional fights. That's craziness. Right? Like, when we saying bad or good, we're speaking strictly in the professional realm, bro.
Let me tell you something. Brandon Schaub, with his tight ass jeans, will whip your ass. It's just the truth of it.
Wait, is he wearing the tight jeans that flex or the ones that don't flex?
It doesn't matter.
He might get stuck when the jeans.
He could be in the middle of crying about something he's talking about in his podcast. You try him, he's still got more skills than you. More like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
He's also 6'5".
Yeah, but everybody gets stuck if the jeans rip, bro. If the shit's rip, it stalls your movement. If you was throwing a lot of force, all I'm saying is he should be wearing the stretchy jeans.
Yeah, bro. I don't even know what to tell you.
You know what's great about this time of year is this mad MMA events.
I mean, I feel like
there's a lot.
It's been great with this lately. It's been basically every week,
and it's gonna be like that almost for the next 8 weeks, with the exception being the major holidays where you're supposed to hang out with your family and not ignore them to watch UFC. So Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's it, really. Those are the only weeks off. So just judging off of the main event, right? Just thinking off of the main event, which of the last 8 cards that we have for the year were you most excited by? I'm gonna announce them off real quick for those playing along at home that don't know them off the top of their head. Coming up this weekend, we're gonna come back to this in a little bit, but Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Michel Pereira.
That boy coming with a fight.
Then we got UFC 308 the next weekend, October 26th. Tapuria defending his belt against none other than blessed Max Holloway.
BMF.
It's a big one. And then right after that, we got another UFC Vegas fight night headlined by two guys we were just talking about, Brandon Moreno and Amir Albazi. Followed by Neil Magny headlining against Carlos Prates.
Fight nerds are here.
This is the scariest of the fight nerds. Like, of all the fight nerds, even with
fight nerds glasses, man.
Yeah, we gotta get some fight nerds glasses, bro. I'm gonna put in a request. But of all the fight nerds, even with the glasses, this is the one that looks the scariest, bro.
I'm gonna have to hit him.
Like, Prates looks dangerous, bro. Like, he just does. And I'm really looking forward to that. Then, of course, we've got the fight that may or may not happen still.
Stop with that.
John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. This is going to be a banger if they make it to Madison Square Garden. We're hoping. We're praying. You got to make it to November.
If not, Tom will fight somebody.
Tom will fight somebody. We don't know who. It won't be John Jones or Stipe, though. I'll tell you that much. Maybe Pereira? Dun, dun, dun. It has been 9 days, bro. This thing is severely inactive for a champion. This is ridiculous. 9 days since his last fight, bro? What kind of champion is this?
He's helping his sister out, bro. Relax.
Yo, his sister? Yo, oh, man.
Not to mention his sons is
his
fighting
sister
just like him.
Delivering the left hook was one part of the staple that everybody recognizes, right? And that's totally cool. Because the left hook definitely runs in the blood. But let's not ignore the fact that the hammer fist also run in the family, bro. Because it was like playing a video game and you like gender swap the character, but they do the exact same things.
Size differences.
It was crazy. But she did the exact same movement, bro. The two-piece with the left hook, followed by 3 hammer fists to stomp off.
When it comes to mannerisms, techniques, and all of that, I've seen 4 versions of Pereira now. Himself, his 2 sons, and his sister.
And now his sister.
And
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. So similar.
It's beautiful to see.
It's so similar.
I love to see it.
I don't know if he's that great of a coach or they just listen that well.
I don't even think it has to do with coaching. It's just a family thing, right? Like your brother may not have been your coach, but you probably have 1 or 2 like little mannerisms or tics, not as severe as these guys are. Right? Like here's a fun example. Here's a fun example in athletics, right? Like I'm the older one of my siblings, as many know. So my younger brother Mark, right? He spent the most time around me while I was playing baseball heavily. Right? When I was playing baseball heavily during his most like influential ages, I was learning how to bat switch. So I was batting lefty most of my time. Because of that, my little brother is right-handed, but only bats lefty.
But that's just
right. And then he developed into a switch hitter, but he's predominantly lefty. But no, it's the same because it's watching the older person.
Yeah, I mean, I have a brother. I don't have a sibling that we play the same sports or anything. Never.
That's the difference.
Never.
Yeah, if you have siblings that you play the same sport as, you end up. It's just natural because that's the person that you're training with. So until another coach comes in and is like, "Oh, this thing you're doing is wrong."
See, I'll give my brother his flowers in what it is. Like, when it came to playing basketball, he's completely ass. But me and him versus 2 other people, God bless them. Because he's not gonna try to do too much. He's gonna do his job.
That's hilarious.
Hustle. He's like, I don't play basketball. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get my workout out. I'm get the ball every time it's anywhere near him. Get it to Mike. Get the ball to Mike. Bro.
That is hilarious.
And you know my uncle that was raised like my brother, Ray.
Yeah.
Ray.
Yep.
Ray could play basketball. I don't want him in my team. Nowhere near me.
That's crazy, bro.
It's
crazy.
That's how life is.
That's crazy. But
He
finishing
has some
off
skills, but he's not good enough to do the things he does.
finishing off the UFC fight nights for the year, right after Madison Square Garden, we've got two former champions headlining a fight card in China. Peter Yan versus Davison Figueiredo.
Why does Dana hate Jan?
Hey, yo. Where did that come from?
I mean, do the math.
You think Davison's going to beat him that bad?
I didn't say he's gonna beat him bad. I didn't say none of that. Look at the fights he's had.
Yeah, he's had a lot of tough fights, but he was also a champion.
Go look at his previous fights.
Where to look at him? Sean O'Malley, Aljo. Those are the last two. He fought Aljo twice. Right before that was he fought Marab. Wait, no, let me do this right. Hold on. It was Aljo, O'Malley, Marab. Then somebody he fought recently. Who did he fight recently?
Champion.
But all of those were after him being champion. He was champion when he fought Aljo. He lost the belt.
I know this.
Then rematched Aljo.
But where is the drop off? And now you get the guy, the former.
No,
champion.
the drop off was Sean O'Malley. He got robbed in that fight.
I listen. I'm not talking about what happened in the results. I'm talking about the booking.
No, but I'm saying
all the guys that Dana knew were.
But I'm going booking wise. Booking wise, Sean O'Malley was the easy fight. He beat him. Like there was nothing in the fight that made it look like Peter Yan didn't win the fight, right? So
I remember. I
you know what I'm saying? So as far as that was his
fight, and I'm like,
because remember Sean O'Malley wasn't champion. There was nothing really credentialed there.
This was O'Malley's biggest fight at that point,
right?
And you just knew if it's close, they were going to
exactly. And I don't think it was that close either, to be honest. But I'm not a judge, so you know what I mean. They did what they did.
I thought it was close, but I thought Yan won. If we're being realistic, he won. But the point is, this is terrible.
I'm looking forward to it. And then, rounding it out to finish the year for us, actually, there might be one more card thrown in there on December 14th. We'll see. But December 7th, we have everybody's favorite fighter to hate, Mr. Bilal Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov.
So I haven't answered the question, and the answer is very simple. It's the one that's right in front of us. It's the one that's almost coming up. It's Max Holloway versus Ilya. But I absolutely can't wait for Bilal versus Shavkat. I think Shavkat is probably my favorite fighter who hasn't even fought for the belt yet.
I feel like I've become someone who... Bilal hasn't done anything to make me more of a fan of him since he became champion. So for that alone, I'm more excited to see him lose the belt than I am Ilya. And maybe that has to do with the fact that I feel so confident that Max is going to win that I already know what's going to happen.
See, that's
I think that's what my issue is. With the Shavkat fight, I'm still
what's giving you the
questioning.
confidence with Max? Because I have a theory for myself, too.
What's giving me the confidence with Max is that I haven't seen Ilya do anything that anyone else hasn't brought to the table for Max already. He's not bringing anything brand new that Max hasn't already seen, right? So in that, for me, it's like you're bringing something to someone who's already gotten to a place in his career that he doesn't even feel like he has to spar anymore. And he's currently holding a belt. So unless you show up with something really amazing, all this I'm a master boxer stuff is not going to look good. You're talking about somebody who was actively looking the other way while Calvin Kattar was throwing punches at him and dodged every single one.
This is my thing. Well, that's fair. It's nowhere near like what I see. To me, it's like everybody's pointing out Max's recent fights for the belts lately has been obviously has been all Volkanovski, or they brought up the Dustin fight. To me, I think counting him out is why I'm confident that Max is going to win this fight. People are counting him out. And he's just not the guy you count out, in my opinion.
I don't think.
I can't go to technique in it.
I don't
just
know.
feel like
Yeah, no,
that's-
I can respect that, especially from the athletic story perspective, right? Like you can't really count this guy out. He has an amazing story so far. Everybody they put in front of him, he's done amazing
How
work
do you
against.
motivate somebody that's done it all already?
Yeah, so it's tough.
You're
That's
just
a tough one.
motivating him to do it again at this point.
Well, with this one, I think
And-
that's part of the problem. The way Ilya's talking is motivating Max, right? Like you said, if Ilya was talking nice and just chill, you probably would see Max lose this fight because he's not motivated enough.
I also don't get why Ilya thinks that this is the best way to sell a fight, man. I don't know.
No, especially with the lies. That's the real.
It's irritating.
That's the conundrum we have right now. It's the inconsistency in the way that
the reason I'm irritated is because I was such a big Ilya fan. I'm still a fan of the fighter, but I don't understand him as a champion. He's acting way too accomplished.
Right. He's walking around as if he has a ton of defenses under the belt, and he only has winning the belt under the belt. So it's a really tough sell for me.
Yeah.
But like we said before, we're gonna dive into this week's card because next week we're gonna have a shit ton to talk about with the Ilya fight because that's gonna be the main focus. But this weekend we're gonna give credit to the people who have made it onto another fantastic UFC card, starting with a very interesting fight: Robelis Despain versus Austin Lane. Some of you will recall we just had Waldo on the show talking a little bit about this fight and about Robelis Despain and what he brings to the table as an opponent. Now, the real question here is, does Robelis improve his grappling? Does Austin Lane go for a takedown? Does Austin Lane have the chin to survive the shots that Waldo survived in order to be able to keep the fight on the ground?
Well, my biggest thing is how long has it been since Robelis' last fight? He's absolutely had enough time to work on wrestling for Austin Lane. I just don't know if he's done enough work for when he keeps climbing up. But honestly, I think the UFC threw him a little. You have sacrificial lamb. I'm sorry, Austin Lane has put over a lot of guys already.
He has.
He put over Greg Hardy.
He has. He's put over a lot of people.
And I'm giving like a wrestling analogy in this because, to be honest, I know Dana was very upset at the way Robelis lost. It's 100%.
Do you think Robelis needs a big knockout in this one? Or is a win good enough?
No.
He needs a knockout? Yeah. I think a win's good enough.
I think he has to stuff a takedown and knock him out.
Ooh. I think he definitely needs to stuff a takedown.
But
a win is good enough.
But what's good for you can also be bad for you. He stuffs a takedown and knocks him out, and he gets somebody that's higher level too quick.
Nah, because I think that's part of the problem in the heavyweight division. There's not a lot of elite grapplers.
Yeah, but the top 10 is some dogs. As Waldo alluded to.
That is true. That's very true.
It's monster
after monster after
like
monster.
he said, montro, y montro.
Speaking of monster, this is going to be a monster of a fight right here because we got Melissa Martinez versus Alice Ardeline. And for those who don't know, these are two very beautiful fighters right here. Like, these are beautiful fighters. If you're not following Alice Ardeline or Melissa Martinez, they definitely put out a ton of content for the average fan to enjoy. But respectfully, Alice Ardeline is no joke. She works.
She's also hilarious on
She
Instagram.
works.
So follow her on Instagram. If you don't, she's hilarious.
She does, yeah. She's got a great personality. Melissa Martinez, I believe this is either her debut fight or her third fight in. She fought Elise Reed. It's her second fight in. So they're both showing up on their second fights, coming off of losses, I believe. Because I believe Alice Ardeline, she lost against Bannon, who is... See, Bannon is the type of person that I don't love as a fighter because it seems like she's going into fighting to get out of OnlyFans. But OnlyFans was her first thing that made her famous. Alice, on the other hand, seems like she's always wanted to be a fighter, figured out OnlyFans would put her in the spotlight, and now she's getting to live her dream.
I could
You know?
imagine a lot of her content on OnlyFans is comedy, and people are upset. Because I follow her on Instagram, and she's just funny. She just likes to joke all day, goofy as hell.
I am looking forward to the Jocelyn Edwards versus Tamara's Vidal fight because big fan of Jocelyn Edwards. I think she always brings a nice fight. She's one of those middle of the road fighters that you can just always count on to have a good, exciting fight. Problem is, on the other side, and I'm shocked that the odds are what they are, because on the other side you got Tamara's Vidal, who just is a powerhouse of a tank-sized person.
It's kind of like a point fighter versus the person that's either knockout or lose.
Yeah, it's just so. This one should keep things pretty exciting, pretty engaging, and we'll see how it goes. But I gave you 2 back-to-back women's fights that I think are going to be amazing. So you know we're going to follow it up with a little bit of Brad Katona, probably my favorite Canadian on the map right now, outside of my Canadian film brothers that I love. Y'all know that. Because Brad Katona keeps showing up, bro. 2-time tough winner.
Man,
and now he's back
in here as a dog against somebody I never heard of. So I'm interested.
I'm definitely getting the plus money on him because even if Gene is fire and amazing, I'm just ruining out my boy Brad at this point. Like I rock with him. He's the guy.
Well, I'm definitely a bracket fan.
Then after that, we're gonna see what the fight night is like. I know that Jacob from We Want Picks has Darren Elkins as his underdog lock of the week. That's already kind of evened out, so maybe go with Brad Katona. Might be an interesting option.
Lock?
Lock?
God.
Am I being too much bias? Too much bias?
Yeah.
All right, too much bias. Not a lock. Just a fun fighter.
Wow.
Charles Johnson versus Sumadarji is going to be a wild fight. This is the one fight that I would absolutely recommend you do not bet on. Stay away from. Because Charles Johnson is the most unpredictable, fun fighter I've ever been a fan of in my life. I just don't ever know what's going to happen with him. Sometimes you're like, this should be the game plan. He shows up, does something completely opposite. Sometimes he wins. Sometimes he loses. It's chaotic. But he always keeps it exciting.
It's the haircut.
It's the haircut. You know what I mean? I think it's the haircut. This is such a wild haircut, bro. Like, I understand going bald. You feel me? But, to just grow the rest of your hair, dude, you think he's going to pull it off and get it made into a wig, put on? So that he has his natural hair as a wig? That would make sense. That's logical.
He's different. He got hair in the back of his head. Everybody want hair in the top of their head.
He's built different.
He's different.
Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. Yesterday I had no idea who Kyler Phillips was. But then once I looked it up again, I was like, oh yeah, I do know who Kyler Phillips is. It's just every time I see him, he has such a model-like picture that I'm like, yo, you're a fighter? You must be new. Every time I see him, I'm like, you must be new.
I don't know.
The odds are crazy.
I don't know what the matchmakers did here. It's a guy who we just saw couldn't wrestle.
Versus a guy who's going to wrestle the hell out of him.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the odds makers did there.
It's at some point, the matchmakers...
I said the odds makers, the matchmakers, yeah.
Yeah, the odds makers got it 100% right. Underdog Rob Font for sure.
Yeah.
But you got to move the rankings around somehow, right? And right now Kyler's ranked 12, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of a setup for Rob Font.
And then we got the main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Hernandez versus Michelle Pereira.
Diego Michin.
And it's over. That's really the whole breakdown of it. That's how exciting the fight is. That you just got to make that announcement.
I kept it nice and short.
Yeah.
Diego Michin.
That's it. It's over. The only part of this that kind of sucks, but again, it speaks to the density of the division, is the ranking exchange, right? Like, Michelle's going to win this fight, and he's just going to move up to rank 13. That's not really going to do a lot. But now I'm calling for a bigger fight, bro. Now I'm calling for Marvin Vettori. You know what I'm saying? I've been calling for
Marvin Vettori.
Calling for
I don't like that matchup for Michelle.
I think Michelle wins that pretty easily. And if he doesn't, it's important to see him lose like that, bro.
Maybe.
I think that's
he's not an undefeated fighter. He's not scared of losing. He's bounced back from him before.
He'll bounce back. It's cool. And that wraps it up for that fight card, which I think this weekend is going to be pretty exciting. Not a lot of fight news this week. We got Conor McGregor baiting Dan Hooker with some nonsense about a potential February fight in Australia.
Jimmy Uso came back.
Who that?
Yeet. Oh,
no
yeet.
We almost forgot about.
But he was in the lot. He was trying to get his brother to come back, and his brother was like, "Get out of here, man! Get out of my face!" Like he's trying to apologize to his brother, and
that's hilarious.
And he helped.
Oh man,
him and Roman Reigns getting beat up.
We also have PFL this weekend. Francis Ngannou versus Renan Ferreira. Larissa Pacheco versus Cyborg. And
my boy Aaron
Edwards versus Johnny Eblins.
My boy Aaron McKee making another return.
And Aaron McKee is on the card as well.
Who else is on that card? There's a couple decent names.
Not enough to make me not watch UFC though. So
no, it's not gonna conflict. You're gonna be able to watch.
Oh no, it's gonna conflict.
No, it's not.
Yeah, PFL starts at 4.
No. The main card starts at 4.
Exactly. Which is when the prelims start for UFC.
No. Otherwise, it's like at 2 or something. Yeah.
Nah, I think you're thinking about the China card.
No, it's an early card.
So UFC starts at 7. No, the main event starts at 7. The prelims start at 4, right? And then PFL. Oh yeah, I forgot how much this website sucks. Sure, what happens if I click this? Wow, this card.
Cyborg.
Oh my God. Full fight card. Well, guys, if you're ever wondering why the UFC is smoking PFL, this is part of the reason. It should never be this difficult for someone to figure out if they want to watch your fight card or not.
Yeah, that's where they're messing up at.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I've clicked on like 4 different things and I still can't find just the day, the time it starts, bro. That's all I want to know.
Because you're blind. But I can't
but
see
even
either,
being
I'm blind.
How to watch. Here we go. How to watch. ESPN Plus. It still doesn't say the time.
To be decided.
That's crazy.
You know who'll tell you. You know who tells you.
You know who's right. We just gotta go to FanDuel. Mm-hmm. But that wraps it up for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Main Event Fightcast. We've had some fun. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to keep up with me, you can follow me at WhatUpVega. If you want to keep up with Coach Mike, you can follow him at SF Big Mike. And we'll see you guys next week.